Be still and breathe. Be still and be. That's the whole thing. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. I'm going to invite you to actually do that. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Here we go. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Now just listen. Listen to heartache. Listen to grief. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Listen. Listen to gladness. Listen to joy. Be still and breathe. Be still and be. So that's one of our hymns today. That is a new one from our hymnal. And we also have what I like to call a stretch hymn. Stretch hymn means it's going to be a little challenge for us the first couple times. And that's okay. That's okay. So I'm going to teach you the refrain now. The verses are all a little different. We will have the notation up there for music readers. But if you on the verses today just want to listen and then come in on the refrain, that's totally fine, just so you get the feel of it. But we'll work on this refrain here. So let me get my... Bill, I'm looking at Psalm for Change if you want to come with me on the refrain. All right, so I'm here. I think what might be helpful, I'm going to sing the whole refrain so you get the whole picture of it, and then we'll do a little echo. So we'll do about, let's know each other. Here we go. Bill's going to help me because he knows I'm stretching here too. 1, 2, and me. Let's know each other and be bold. Let's work with the wonders we behold. Let's live the love that we are called to live. Be the change. Be the change and believe. We're gonna do the final ending. We're gonna do the final ending. So we do it differently the first three. And believe. We'll do that for the teaching part. Here we go. I'll do a line and then you come back. And so the first one is, let's know each other and be bold. Love this. Ready? Listen. Let's know each other and be bold. Your turn. Same line. Let's know each other and be bold. Second line, me. Let's work with the wonders we behold. All of you on second line. Let's work with the wonders we behold. Me, third line. Let's live the love that we are called to live. Your turn. Let's live the love that we are called to live. My turn. And be the change and believe. Your turn. Here we go. Be the change and believe. The final ending. There it is. Okay, so you see it's a little challenging, but again, we'll have it up there. So We'll start with let's know each other and be bold. And I'll try to call it out before we sing it. Let's do the whole thing. What the heck? Here we go. And one. Let's know each other and be bold. Let's work with the wonders we behold. Let's work with the wonders we behold. Let's live the love we are called to live. Let's live the love that we are called to live. Be the change and believe. Be the change and believe. Let's do it again. Let's know each other and be bold. And one. Let's know each other and be bold. Let's work with the wonders we behold. Let's work with the wonders we behold. Let's live the love. Let's live the love that we are called to live. Be the change and believe. Be the change and believe. There you go. So that's the refrain. It has 4 verses that go with it. It'll be up there if you want to sing along. Great. If you want to just take it in, that'll be fine too. We're going to end with one that's less challenging for us. So we've done this one before. Loosen, loosen, maybe you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. We'll just keep doing it. Loosen, loosen, maybe you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. And I invite you again, believe it. As we sing it, believe it. Here we go. Ready? And loosen, loosen, maybe you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, maybe you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, maybe you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
What a way to begin. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. My name is Jason Slaughter. I'm your worship associate. My pronouns are he, him. This morning we'll start with our opening words from a writer by the name of Pat Yerbe Lichty. Different yet united. We come from many places, along different paths, bringing different truths, yet come with different histories and different realities. And yet we come together as one people with faith that we can use our differences to heal ourselves and each other, to bring wholeness to a fractured world. We come seeking to find community, to find acceptance of who we are. In this place, we may find others who are much like us and others who are much different. May our lit chalice remind us that we are a people taught by different stories and with many voices, but always one people working for a world where love creates justice and justice gives birth to peace. Now, if you're able to stand, please rise with me and sing a joyful noise, Coming Home. Number 119, up here, I guess. Is that right? Or there it is.
I return to myself, here where I belong. I am coming home, like a bird to his nest, like a river to the ocean. I am coming home. I return to myself, here where I belong. I am coming home, like a bird to its nest, like a river to the ocean. I am coming home.
We light this chalice, our symbol of Unitarian Universalism. We are a church of open minds. We are a church of loving hearts. We are a church of helping hands. Together we care for our earth and work for justice and peace in our world. Still learning.
All right. Good morning. My name is Erica Berkey Rios, and I am the worship leader today. My pronouns are she, her. And over this past summer, if you were around, or if you've been around for the last few years, or if you have simply been a curious human on the planet, we have been learning and understanding Indigenous lives, culture, and journeys. And today we are going to get to hear one of the stories of the creation of Turtle Island. And this is the Mohawk story of Turtle Island. So I didn't bring my serape today, but I invite the young and young at heart to join me and come up front so we can watch our story. now to share 2 poems, and please hold your reactions until the end.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share this with you guys. So, yeah, forgive me, I might get emotional. Yeah. So this is my first poem I wrote. This was the first poem I ever wrote, actually. It's called La Primera Americana, the first American. I was raised by immigrants, and long nights spent lazing around a glowing TV, the sound of laughter filling in the cracks on old plaster walls, Spanish being spoken so quickly even I have trouble understanding. There's no need for garbled English or the sense of not belonging. It's just 2 immigrants and their children. But to some, it's not just to immigrants. To some, it's 2 outsiders who would rather set themselves back by not properly speaking a language that they need. It's 2 people who don't belong and never will. But that's not who I was raised by. I was raised by people who'd rather stay true to themselves and their culture than change for the notion of acceptance in a place where no matter what they do, they'll end up condemned for one thing or another. Those type of immigrants. They're 40-year-olds whose life was spent in the ruins of a nation so deprived of basic needs, aluminum and wood being the only thing separating them from lands that held nothing for them in the moment. Sería mejor morir que dejar mis hijos vivir aquí. It would be better to die than let my kids live here. I was raised by the starved who couldn't stand the idea of their children needing everything and having nothing, prayed to God and asked for more, not for themselves, but for their children. Nunca vas a saber lo que es tener nada cuando necesitas todo. My mother, who with only cents in her pocket and a baby nestled in her stomach, left the only place she knew. My father, with only a bag full of clothes and the weight of 2 starving children on the back of his mind, went on his way towards a chance at survival. And who, even after decades of living in this land, still hopes to see the sun rising over the mango trees. Me recuerdo de mi Guatemala linda. Espero un día volver ahí. I still remember my beautiful Guatemala. I wish one day to be able to return. My parents have not sacrificed sleep, have not let their dignity be shattered over and over again just to be told that they are the criminals in this nation. Instead, they've raised a daughter who can proudly say she is a first-generation American and her parents have taught her well. I'd like to think that their efforts paid off. That every scar littering their hands is not worthless because every day I get to accomplish something they never got to do. My parents are living and breathing examples that being a minority can wear on you with their graying hair, muscles weakened by the thread of hope that they so desperately hang on to, ya no puedo más, sort of people. I was raised by immigrants. And this is our second one. This one's called Colored History. All the bills are 3 months late. A burnt-out light bulb mistaken for the last light I'll see in a while, heat ebbing slowly out of my home, leaving trails like roots. I'm shivering. It's not because frost covers my skin, but rage fills my heart. I was never told it was going to be like this. Lack of money and more melanin in my skin wasn't supposed to dictate my happiness, keep it captive like a seed without sunlight, like a bird without wings. The death of an entire culture was never meant to be. Natives weren't supposed to be pushed off onto foreign lands in bedless rooms with the same holes in the ceiling that marked my childhood. In those times, the sweet caress of lullabies never put me to bed. And the tender touch of fairy tales never tucked me in, but I was told stories. Guatemala, Mexico, whose towering pyramids have long since crumbled, indigenous cities encasing millenniums worth of culture ransacked, the royal families decimated, and rubble lies where an empire thrived. Genocide is now commercialized. It's a repeat. Same story every night, yet I still feel this sorrow digging deep into my bones. No one else will hear this story. Just a twisted version, mass printed onto textbooks, blurring the lines between propaganda and truth, weaving a tale about the glory of white invaders sitting on thrones meant for brown-skinned nobility. Hollow cheeks and empty stomachs don't matter to any except those who lived through it. The forgotten corpses lying underneath spiraling towers are proof of that. But mass graves with nameless bodies piled in them are also the foundation of this of this country, built on top of bone instead of concrete, and it runs off the sweat of my family, leaving our fingers scarred, hearts scarred, yearning for a homeland we've been forsaken from. Money slips through our fingers like the soil of the seeds we've planted. Eventually, the seeds will blossom and reach heights unimaginable. And we're trying so desperately to grow with them. Broken heaters and freezing temperatures aren't enough to freeze over the remnant fires still glowing within us. Decades of being turned down at every border, forcibly manhandled into the model mold of a citizen has not broken a spirit yet, because we're a diaspora of people, frantically trying to mend the wound of our torn off wings, while faces taunt us as we relearn how to fly. Everyone tells us that we don't belong here, but foreigners still feast off the bloody dirt of my people.
Thank you so much for that beautiful music. Friends, it has been another challenging week in our world. I want to invite us to start with some silence, time to reconnect with our breath and reground ourselves. Let us be in silence together. This week brought many assaults in the political arena on values we hold dear. May this time of quiet be an opportunity to touch peace within ourselves, to tap new springs of courage, resolve, and hope. We know that none of us alone can hold all that must be held or do all that must be done. But may each of us be led toward that work which is ours to do. And as a community, may we feel our strength together and use it for good as best we can. In this spirit, we name our concern for this land and for its people and for the people of the world. For immigrants and refugees turned away from borders and airports, we pray for safe harbor. We pray for all immigrants who fear for their safety and the safety of their families and loved ones. May they be well and safe. May they feel the love that surrounds them. May all who are moved to action in these times be clear and strong and compassionate in our response. Let us take a moment to give thanks for the blessings emerging even now. For those who have opened their hearts, who are leading us forward and showing us what peaceful empowerment looks like, we give thanks. For journalists and scientists, teachers and public servants, poets, and so many others who are offering truth and wisdom in a time of need, we give thanks. For ordinary people, including you and me, who are rising to the occasion and bringing the best that is in us as best we can, we give thanks. We close with a few more breaths in silence. May it be so. Amen.
Be still and breathe. Be still and be. Listen to heartache, listen to grief. Be still and breathe. Be still and
When I joined the worship committee a little less than a year ago, I remember at the meeting at the beginning of the year when the chair, Kathy Disney, where is she? We thank her for her service and leadership, asked us to think about the services for which we might like to serve as worship associates for the upcoming year, and to consider if there were any topics on which we might be moved to present a sermon. By the end of January, in what came to feel like a daily assault on everyday Americans, we began to see the rollout of the objectives of Project 2025 through our president's flood of executive orders. Originally published in April 2023 by the Heritage Foundation, this plan, described by Common Cause as a blueprint for dismantling democracy, has served as the guide for the current president to roll back voters' rights, install partisan loyalists throughout the federal government, and begin imposing Christian nationalist policies at a federal level. Within a matter of weeks, we magically had new, unscientific definitions of gender, new names for international bodies of water, and a de facto declaration of war on all gender diverse people and immigrants, and particularly those with brown and black skin. Since that time, many, if not all of us, have continued to wake up every morning with a deep sense of dread over what new attack on democracy and the people might await us that day. As I continued my role in the worship committee, I began to search out some of the resources that are available to all of us, one being the Soul Matters Packet, a monthly digital resources provided by the Unitarian Universalist Association that presents a new spiritual theme each month and includes readings, poems, reflections, questions, and more. So it was this summer that I saw that the September 2025 Soul Matters Packet took on the theme of belonging. It was at this moment that I knew that it was time to bring my fears and my hopes about what is currently happening in our country into focus by looking at the issues through the lens of our Unitarian Universalist principles. I am thankful to Charlie Ahern for his sermon last week, who gave us a great review of our principles, as well as to John Atkinson for sharing his story about how some of those principles influenced his life. So if this were a test, how many of you can remember all 7 of the principles? It is not. I'm going to quote directly from the Unitarian Universalist Association website, uua.org/beliefs. Love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. The values we share include all the following, which we hold as inseparable and deeply interconnected. Interdependence. We honor the interdependent web of all existence and acknowledge our place in it. Pluralism. We are all sacred beings. diverse in culture, experience, and theology. Justice. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all feel welcome and can thrive. Transformation. We adapt to the changing world. Generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. And equity. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. So as the weeks and months have gone by, we continue to witness scenes of unidentified masked men invading our places of work, school, and even hijacking legal immigration court hearings to abduct immigrants who are attempting to follow the prescribed legal pathway. And as we have so beautifully and movingly heard today from poet Joanna Kalel, simply trying to live day to day as immigrants in the United States, particularly brown and black immigrants, is an incredible struggle, full of fear and anguish. From close friends, I have heard the dread and exhaustion in their voices as they simply try to go about their lives, working, going to school, trying to access health care, trying to take care of their families. The fear of any small misstep, a missing brake light, a late utility bill, which could potentially lead to interactions with law enforcement and unforeseen consequences. But even that fragile reality could not have allowed us to imagine the scenes that have played out in recent months in Omaha, Kansas City, and everywhere else from Florida to California. And we must ask ourselves from a spiritual perspective, what has allowed us to create a society in which the inherent worth and dignity of so many individuals is being so flagrantly denied? The principles of pluralism and justice call upon us not only to recognize, but to celebrate all sacred beings, all people with diverse cultural, experiential, and theological backgrounds. None of us would deny that we want safe communities and the right of law enforcement to pursue and arrest people who have violated our criminal laws and evaded justice. But if we are a country of laws, which we have claimed to be, the mass rounding up of people trying to make their daily bread is a pattern of brokenness, which results from our colonial past, stolen land, stolen people, and broken promises. Amen. And just this week, we are now facing a situation in which our president has chosen to rebrand the Department of Defense in a moment of apparent glory, the Department of War. And he fails to see the irony. Perhaps he means this declaration of war on our own country, as he has made plain his threats to deploy National Guard troops to Chicago to boost deportations under the guise of curbing violent crime. This has already impacted the lives of Chicagoans as community organizers have decided to cancel the annual Mexican and Latin American independence celebrations, which are an annual and highly attended event in Chicago for next weekend. You might be asking yourself at this point, but what does any of this have to do with belonging and with the question, who belongs? We must look at our history that has brought us to this present day, the doctrine of divine right, our colonial history, the practice of slavery, indentured servitude. These are all fundamentally responsible for the breaking of so many relationships. These beliefs have allowed for the perception that we are separate from the land we inhabit and that we have the right of dominion over it and all beings that exist in it, including plants, animals, and people. We currently live in the legacy of these divisions, of broken relationships between groups of people, those who lived here from the beginning, those who were forced here against their will, and the settlers who took over the land and have attempted to dominate everything in the interdependent web of existence instead of trying to live in harmony with it. But we know that this is not the only way to live. We have spent the last few years collectively on a journey to better understand the history and lives of the first peoples of this land, the Iowa, Lakota, Odo Missouri, Ponca, Sac and Fox, Winnebago nations. This journey has already greatly enriched our church community, deepening our understanding of the original peoples of this land. But there is an even greater gift that has been shared with us, the appreciation of the sense for what it truly means to belong to the land. This is the idea that to live in a place, to truly belong to it, is to live without divisions, separations, or dominion over it, its plants, animals, or people, but instead to seek to live in harmony with all that it is. Robin Wall Kimmerer, renowned Potawatomi botanist and author of Braiding Sweetgrass, asks us to examine these relationships. She writes, "Here is the question we must at last confront. Is land merely a source of belongings? Or is it the source of our most profound sense of belonging? We can choose." As we continue on our Indigenous learning journey, what has become so clear to me is that we can no longer live in a world of broken relationships. We must endeavor to repair and rejuvenate them, the broken relationships that we have with the people and the land. The ongoing damaging effects of current political will and Project 2025 is that these broken relationships are maintained, prolonged, and made worse. If those of us who are white see ourselves as separate from brown and black people who are being targeted and arrested without due process, then it becomes possible to continue down this path of brokenness and terrorization of our fellow human beings. If we can declare that these humans do not belong, then the division, dehumanization, and terrorizing of them continues. If we see ourselves as separate from the land, from groups of people who appear different from us, then we fail to live up to the principles that we are all a part of an interdependent web of existence. When we ask ourselves, who belongs? Our principles clearly show us that we all belong. All the beings of this existence, of this land, belong. I would ask you to become vulnerable to all of these beings with whom we exist. And in this moment of racism, injustice, violence, and persecution of people for simply being who they are, our principles guide us to side with love and to take action to ally with those who would be led to believe that they do not belong. After the service today, I encourage you to connect with the Social Justice Committee and learn about the concrete actions that you can take that are happening in our community. Our principles ask nothing less of us. In the Mohawk creation story of Turtle Island that we got to see in the beginning of the service, when the woman is falling, she is caught and carried by the gahonk, the geese. The great turtle responds to her cries for help and emerges from the water to give her a place to rest. The beaver, the otter, the muskrat dive and dig to find earth to begin building a home for the woman on the turtle's back. And so she was able to survive on Turtle Island. I would suggest that we open ourselves to the wisdom of our Indigenous relatives who can guide us past this time of broken relationships and instead into a time of great belonging for all of us.
There it is. And what good is the holy if it doesn't shine in you? What good is life if we don't know to live? What good is dreaming if dreams don't make us real? What good is love if you don't forgive? Let's know each other and be bold. Let's work with the wonders we behold. Let's live the love that we are called to live. Be the change and believe. Why look to heroes if only to doubt ourselves? What good is faith if we don't bless? What good is religion if there is no room for doubt? What good is truth if it only condemns? Let's know each other and be bold. Let's work the wonders we behold. Let's live the life that we are called the change, be the change and believe. What good is greatness if no one is a friend? What good is justice if it's only for a few? What good is freedom when you can't be yourself? What good is peace if it distorts the truth? Let's know each other and be bold. Let's work with the wonders we behold. Let's live in love that we are called to live. Be the change, be the change and believe. What good is striving if Mother Earth should die? What good are journeys without hope? What good is glory if love is sacrificed? What is correctness if you don't have soul? Let's know each other and be whole. Let's work with the wonders we behold. Let's live the love that we are called to live. Be the change, be the change and believe.
Each week, we take up a collection to support the work of this church and our partners in the community. We do this because just as we all grow from our participation in this community, we all give back through our time, our talent, and our treasures. As the song plays and as we sing this next hymn, well, I'm going to do announcements first, but the ushers will pass our offering plates. You can also give by texting UCL Lincoln and the amount to 73256. That's UC Lincoln and the amount to 73256. The offering will now be gratefully received. And I think I'm doing announcements, right? Yes. Okay, all right. Collaboration. Thanks again for joining us today. I'm Judy Hart, a member of the Board of Trustees. I want to offer a special welcome to those of you who are visiting for the first time. I have a few announcements to share as our church community extends beyond Sunday morning worship. So next Sunday, September 14th, is the kickoff of our next church year with the all ages water communion service. Woo! Yeah, it's always good to have a beginning. The staff has been busy planning a special service filled with joy, movement, and singing. Don't forget, we are holding an all-church potluck immediately after the water communion service, so please bring a dish to share and leave it in the church kitchen, and volunteers will keep it hot or cold until it's time for the potluck. It's always good to know. We're really getting excited for the parking lot party on September 17th. We will have food trucks, balloon animals, face painting, outdoor games, and an introvert cafe indoors if you need to get away for a moment or two. So we're also hosting another Stuff the Truck for the little free pantries. So bring things to stuff the truck. Late breaking news, the band Skylark has been added to the lineup for the evening in addition to the A Street Band. So this event is free and open to the public. Last announcements, we'll have a newcomer chat right after service in the library, so stop by the tree in the gallery and Stephanie will be, she'll meet you out there. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Lindsay and Antonio. My work here today is at an end, and our work is beginning again. The work of holding one another and this community in love, the work of trusting that we are on the right path, the work of believing that what connects us is stronger than what separates us, the work of engaging in that which makes us whole, the work of deeper understanding and commitment, the work of letting go of that which does not serve us, the work of radical inclusion, the work of collective liberation, the work of this beloved community, a beloved community of which we are all a part, a place where we are welcomed, respected, valued, and cherished, a place where we belong. Go in peace. Amen. And blessed be.